Good afternoon, it's Christina from Redefine Creative, and this is the layout I'm going to be showing you today. I started out with some cut files from Crafty Jen Schow, and these are the new circles, and I just kind of batch cut all of these out in white, and I put them on a piece of white cardstock, and I'm using my Distress ink in three different colors, so I'm using Peacock Feather, Salty Ocean, and Mermaid Lagoon to combine together to create a different look. So I'm using that cut file basically as a mask. And I had it on the strip of paper. I was thinking about leaving it on that paper, and I don't end up doing that. So that's why they're so spread out on here. And I actually end up coloring with the inks some of the blank space because I punched some circles out of it to kind of add to my page later, which you'll see in the final layout. So right now I'm just going through adding kind of combinations of those three colors, and then I'm going to go ahead and peel all of those cut files off of the top, and you're going to see the negative image left. So it's going to have a different look than a cut file typically has when it's finished. And you're going to see that here in just one second. I am scrapping a photo today of my nephew, and it's in black and white because there were a lot of really busy colors in the picture, as there often are with baby pictures. Right now I'm just taking some black ink and going along the edge of the white cardstock to make it stand out a little bit more and kind of give the edges some variation. I like to do that a lot, especially if I'm not going to mount it on a piece of pattern paper in the background. And then I already cut a piece of watercolored pattern paper where the watercolor is already done for you. And I cut it into a diagonal, so I'm going to use this on the bottom right-hand corner of this layout. And it kind of has the blues and teals and all the colors of the inks that I also chose for this layout. And I'm just going to go ahead and attach that directly to the white background paper. And then I also have some a package of border strips from Teresa Collins. It's called Family Stories. It's an older one. I think it's from 2013. And I'm going to go ahead and add those across the diagonal there of the page, just to add a little bit more depth and dimension right there in the middle. And you see me kind of argue with it. I think it's going to be adhesive backed, and of course it is not. So I end up having to add adhesive, and then I'm just going to go ahead and tuck it underneath the edge of the pattern paper so that all you see is the scallops on the end. And I'm going to do that across the entire length of the layout to make sure that I have the entire diagonal covered. And that goes really well to kind of accentuate the colors in the rest of the layout that I'm going to have today. And then I'm going to just trim the edges off to make sure everything meets up on my 12 by 12 paper. And there you see the that final half of the layout. And then I'm going to go ahead and go back to those images that I had made with the cut file, and I cut them all out into circles. So half of them are going to have the phrases, and then half of them are just some plain circles that I added some black texture spray to. It's not the Heidi Swap one, it's actually the black from Studio Calico. And I added that to the circles and just cut them out with my circle punch. And then I'm going to go ahead and mount the photo on black cardstock. And so far you have the background design, and then I added that picture in the bottom corner. Now I'm going to use these puffy foam stickers from Amy Tan for my title, which is going to be Today. And I'm going to go ahead and line that up kind of along the bottom, overlapping the photo. I like to do that a lot of times just to kind of add interest if you include it on the edge of that photo, and it also makes it so it doesn't look like your title is floating out in space somewhere. So it kind of grounds everything and makes it all work together the way we want the layout to flow. And the black in that corner kind of brings in the black speckles that we have in the top half of the layout as well. Something you didn't see is I took the cut circles in the top half, and it's kind of hard to tell here. You can see it a little better in the photo, and I have mounted them on some foam. So the plain colored circles are flat on the pattern paper, and then the ones with the phrases are a little bit more dimensional, so they're standing up. And then I go ahead and go back and grab some of these black foam hearts, and I'm going to put just a couple in some of those circles up at the top. And then I decide I want them the other way around, so I flip them. They're just a little bit different shape, no big difference. And then I'm also going to add one in the bottom right-hand corner right above my title. and that's going to kind of create that triangle. I was trying to fit it in the bottom and it just wasn't working. So it ended up at the top, which creates the triangle around the photo, which is perfect. And then I'm just going to take my black Project Life Becky Higgins pen and add some black detailing around the outside edge of that white cardstock, just to make it stand out even more. And it really kind of ties the entire layout together. And that's basically it. Layout done. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Have a great day.